Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras, here with ILTV's Morning Briefing.
Breaking news from Gaza. The Palestinian Authority's Prime Minister, Rami Hamdallah, was visiting the Strip this morning when an explosion detonated near his envoy. Several have been reported injured, though Hamdallah himself is unharmed. The Prime Minister was in the Strip to help celebrate the opening of a wastewater treatment plant. At this time, no group has claimed responsibility for the attack, but like Israel, the Palestinian Authority holds Hamas responsible for any and all aggressions in the Strip. This potential assassination attempt comes at a time when the PA's reconciliation attempts with Hamas have already been stagnating for months. Though we have seen some major concessions from both parties to form a unity government, namely the PA resuming major presence in the Strip, reported infighting has brought discussions to a crawl. Details of this explosion still remain scarce, but as the dust settles, it's clear that this incident will likely make matters even more tense, if not kill Palestinian reconciliation outright. Today's Knesset meetings could very well see the dissolving of the current government and the call for snap elections come this summer. Though Prime Minister Netanyahu has voiced for a compromise on the divisive matter of Haredim drafting into the IDF, analysts say that this may all be for show and that Netanyahu is actually pushing for those elections behind closed doors. The latest polls put Netanyahu's Likud party as the dominant force if snap elections were indeed held in the coming months. Many critics have pointed out that Netanyahu, who is embroiled in numerous corruption scandals, may prefer elections now before possible criminal indictments come in. Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman has remained adamantly against the ultra-Orthodox party's bid to draft a bill preventing Haredim from being conscripted into the military. Lieberman is the linchpin that threatens to topple the government. It turns out someone else may actually be gunning for his job already, though. Likud MK Miri Regev has just told Israeli media that she hopes to be promoted to defense minister in the next government. Adding fuel to the speculation that Netanyahu may merely be putting on a show as he calls for unity, Regev was actually caught on camera texting one of her assistants during a Knesset member, quote, "Cancel the hotel, elections are on. Today will certainly be a decisive day." Israel's High Court has just made a huge ruling in a very controversial case. Last summer, 15 Jewish families entered and occupied a disputed building in HEBRON. The families say they legally purchased the majority of the structure, but when the original Palestinian owners claimed otherwise, it sparked a major debate. Well, now the verdict is finally in, and a judge has declared that the families cannot yet move inside, giving the IDF the green light to forcibly remove them if necessary. This case actually goes back several years. These families first moved into the building, located just next door to the Holy Cave of the Patriarch in Hebron, back in 2012, but were evicted by Israeli security forces. They moved back in a year later, but agreed to leave on a condition that the property would be registered legally in their name. But failure to produce a legal chain of title over the property has entangled the case in red tape, and last summer the family moved back in, claiming things were just taking too long. They also demanded that the Palestinian family of the original owner, who still lives in a portion of the building, be barred from the premises. The High Court has also rejected this demand, which means this could be the third time these families are going to be removed. In what may be a field first, Israeli security forces used drones to drop tear gas on rioters in Gaza along the security fence. Yesterday evening, during now weekly protests along the southern Gaza border, Israel's border police unit used a drone to disperse the large gathering. In footage aired on Lebanese Al Mayadeen News, crowds can be seen running from the smoke that arises. 2 people were reportedly injured in those clashes. Finally, IDF soldiers responded to large protests outside the Al-Beria checkpoint in the West Bank near Ramallah yesterday that were sparked over the arrest of Birzeit University Student Council head Omar al-Kiswani. Kiswani was arrested on Birzeit's campus by an undercover Israeli unit on Wednesday, March 7th. Birzeit University students, with the urging and support of the university itself, have been protesting since. Last night, they blocked the street that leads to the checkpoint and threw stones. The crowd was dispersed by Israeli forces with tear gas and rubber bullets, though according to the Palestinian Health Ministry, 8 Palestinian protesters were injured with live ammunition. Charges against the student council head Omar al-Kiswani have not yet been published, but this is the second reported attempt to capture him in as many weeks, and the second time he's been arrested. The 24-year-old Kiswani already spent a year in Israeli prison for running a Hamas-affiliated student group on campus. Making major medical news, the RAMBAM healthcare campus in Haifa and Stanford Medicine have just announced the signing of a cooperation agreement to develop the future of medicine. RAMBAM, a regional hospital with considerably less resources than Stanford Hospital, whose annual budget is $7 billion, met in California with Stanford officials for the Stanford Medicine RAMBAM Symposium on planning the next generation. The pair will work in areas like research and collaboration with big data and machine learning, drug development, trauma and emergency preparedness, and much, much more.
That's all for now. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.